Hello, everyone. It's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me on this journey. Today's video, I think, is going to be of interest to a lot of people. It's about a story that one of our bloggers, Fran Meininger, wrote, but it's actually a story about me and about a lot of other women who have this same tendency. And that is, Fran starts her article, for example, by saying, I am a strong woman. I am resilient. I can handle things. I'm able-bodied. And these are all the things that I can do, but I am not good at asking for help. And she said that, a couple of things happened to her recently that, made her realize that she was not as strong and able-bodied as she thought. And she did need help and she needed to ask for it. And the revelations that she received because of that decision to kind of shift her mindset and do things a little bit differently were really wonderful. And it actually applied to me as well, because I've gone through some similar things recently that, I just thought I was strong enough to handle. And I realized I needed some help. And I think that hopefully it will help others, because it's something that women in their 60s are very proud of, that we can manage. We are resilient, we are adaptable, we can do things. We don't need anybody else's help. Thank you very much. So she said that she, basically in Fran's situation, she is a strong woman. She absolutely can manage things, but she had to have some surgery that required she be off her feet for some time afterwards. And before she went into the surgery, it was like, no problem, I got it covered, I'm cool. And people said, well, if you need any help, please let me know, I'm here for you. And her friends were very happy to be of assistance. And she said, no problem, don't worry, I got this. And of course, she realized when she got home and that she actually was in a wheelchair, not just walking around, that she wasn't able to cope and that she did need some help. And so she reached out, as best she could to friends, but she made some observations. And I think these observations are really, really powerful. And, and the insights that she gained, I think, were good for me too. The first thing she says is that she had created a self-image that was strong, that was, resilient and able to cope with anything. She didn't need help. She could do it. And a lot of women in our 60s are actually feeling that way, I think. We've been through a lot. We probably had to manage a lot with things that we didn't know how to do. We had to learn. We had to cope. We had to fake it till we made it. I mean, it was really a necessity for many of us. But she had this sickness and she had to ask for help. But the second thing that is, I think this is actually in ways the most powerful one, is that her accepting that you need help and asking for it really says that you are vulnerable, and nobody wants to feel vulnerable. I mean, a lot of people in their 60s would rather just not get it done. They would rather not do it. But she said by exposing this emotional honesty to her friends, she was vulnerable. And most importantly, that it's okay to be strong and vulnerable. You can be both. And that's in fact exactly what we are most of the time. We are vulnerable and we are also strong. But she realized that emotional honesty that was required to actually sit down and tell her friends, I need some help, strengthened the relationship. It actually made people understand that she was, she was being honest with them, and that took some courage. That was that was courage. And it forced kind of an intimacy. And the other thing was that nobody thought any less of her. No one thought any less of her at all for asking for help. Now, for me, just to pull my own situation into this, because I think it's for me, it was a really good article to read, is that, as a 60 and Me sort of face and the brand, I have an image that is, solidified every time I do a video, every time I, present myself in public. I am strong, capable, resilient, adaptable. I'm compassionate. I'm kind. I'm a good person. All these things I am, I truly am all those things. But then there's other times that I feel vulnerable, and I can't really admit that because I am 60 and Me. And I know that there are hundreds of thousands of women out there that come to our website and don't want to see me necessarily being sad, or this is my image. But I know through the times I have been open and vulnerable about things on my channel, especially about my memories of my mom or memories of my past, my family, my divorce. It's been so well received in the sense that people have reached out and hugged me virtually, just like through the computer. So like Fran, the emotional honesty that I was required to give when I was vulnerable strengthened my relationships and it made them stronger. The other thing, which I think is such a cool thing, is everyone wants to feel needed. wanted, helpful, relevant, and essential in their lives. Everybody wants that. We all do. And so when you get a chance to help someone, it makes that person feel better too. So when I reach out to you or to someone in my family or a friend, and I say, I'm feeling kind of vulnerable or sad about this, or I don't know how to do this thing, can you help me? Actually use those words, like, I don't know how to put this IKEA furniture together, can you help me? That's a obviously one that I is true, but it's really strengthens the bond because it makes them feel good. And it happened to me recently. I'll just share my little story, which isn't anything like Fran's, but I got sick. I had the flu. It wasn't COVID, but it was a stomach flu, and I really didn't feel very well. And I decided, obviously not to go and see my grandkids, but my son called me up and said, Max, my grandson wants to bring you a care package. And it was just so sweet. He's 5, but it was just exactly what Fran said, is that by giving people a chance to help you, it made them feel like a helper. And feeling like a helper is a really nice feeling. So he came over and, of course I didn't want to see him because I didn't want to give him any bugs. So I just suggested that he come up the stairs by himself. I'm on the 2nd floor, so he didn't come with his dad. He came up by himself and he left the package outside my door. And honestly, he talked about it for days, and he wrapped little presents up, and it was just the sweetest thing ever. And providing for me, helping me, gave him a sense of purpose and accomplishment and love. He was able to express his love. So I guess I'm just giving that as an example for you, that if you ever feel like you need to ask for help, it doesn't have to be when you're sick necessarily, but that is a good reason. If you don't feel strong enough to do certain things, or you cannot do certain things, the help, asking for help is helping them too. It's giving them an opportunity to be a helper, and that is like the greatest gift that you can give to someone else. And so being honest in Fran's experience and also in mine changes the dynamic of a friendship. And it was the situation with my sickness is that it came on very suddenly, and we had a Patreon supporters group live show, which are, by the way, really wonderful. If you do feel like joining our Patreon group, this is an amazing group of women. They started their own private Facebook group, and then we have these live shows twice a week, and I do videos just for them. But it's a really lovely little group. It's about 800 people, and it's smaller, so we can chat and get to meet and know each other. But anyway, the point is that it happened just before the show started, and I was having challenges with my computer too, probably telling me to stop and slow down a minute, but I had to cancel the call. And so I put up a note and told people what was happening. And the abundance of love that came from that simple admission that I wasn't really very good, that I didn't feel well, that somehow I was not the Margaret that was always there, healthy, smiling, that I was actually really, really sick. And that they all reached out to me, and lots of hugs, lots of little graphics, lots of little hearts. And I felt like just so energized by it. It was really, really lovely. And as Fran said, the 2 things that happened to me was, number one, I felt like even though I've created, like she does, this perfect, persona of strength and ability and don't need help, being vulnerable also was a sign of my strength, to admit vulnerability. But also it made my friends feel better. They got a chance to just be nice people and be friends and be sweet and be kind, which I think makes people feel good. And that was kind of a gift to them. And also, as Fran said, it changed the dynamic of the relationship. I feel like now I can be more honest sometimes, and we all go through challenging times. We're all going through them, and just being able to admit to someone that you're just not coping so well, you need a little bit of either physical support or mental support, emotional, is a good thing. So I guess the gist or the theme of this video for you to consider, and read Fran's article, it's very sweet, it's nicely done, is simply that you can be strong, capable, able-bodied, all those things, in control. At the same time, you can be vulnerable and in need of help, that it's okay to ask for help. Now, I'm going to ask the question, of course, that you all are probably expecting, which is, would you say that you are a very strong person that never needs to ask for help? I'll be so surprised if there's anyone that doesn't agree with that, because I think we've talked ourselves into believing that being vulnerable isn't a good thing. Or do you feel like I do, that being strong and being vulnerable at the same time is, in fact, a good balance and maybe something that we should aspire to? So my lesson, like maybe friends and yours too, is to stay open to circumstances and be brave enough and courageous enough to ask for help if we need it, and to give our friends a chance to show their love, and to just question that brick wall persona that you've maybe defined over the years, and let that other side of yourself show as well. I hope that this has been helpful. It really helped me, friends. So thank you so much for writing that article, and for you for being here and for listening and being so supportive of me as a community. I think as a community, we're very open with each other and helpful. So I hope that you always feel that you've got somewhere to come to talk and share and be strong and vulnerable at the same time. Take really good care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.